Welcome to this video where we will be building an AR app. To get started, let's open up Xcode and select that option. And we're going to let it be an augmented reality app because we're building an AR app. I'm going to call it AR, save it to the desktop. Leave everything else the same. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so that you can see. And let's go to viewcontroller.swift. And it does include some basic code for us, along with a main.storyboard thing. And to create this project, you will be needing a physical phone. So you want to make sure that you have that. And here I do have one, and it's an iPhone X. It has to be running iOS 12, and it has to be an iPhone 6s or above. Those are the basic requirements. Now let's go to viewcontroller.swift. And if you want to, you can run this on your phone and see what it does. And you want to let it use a camera, but I'm not going to do that now. First of all, you want to make sure that you have, let's start with the coding first. So let's go to view will appear right here. Now inside here, let's start by saying for the configuration dot equal dot detected objects, because we're detecting an object. Detection objects is equal to AR reference objects dot reference object. In group named, and then we'll have a group in a second, and the bundle will be bundle.main. So we'll keep that empty just for now. Now let's create a function called renderer, because we're going to be rendering this. So func render, and we want to find the correct one, and it's called node4 right there, second one. First, we're going to start by defining a node and call it scn node. Then we're going to define an object, anchor, is equal to anchor as AR object anchor. And we're going to have some parameters inside for it as well. Okay, so let's delete that first of all. Now let's go back up to the view did load, and we have this correctly. Okay, and here I'm gonna replace that. I spelled it wrong. What else do we have to do in here? Okay, so now let's go back to art, XC, and assets. So we're going to delete all of this, and instead we're going to create a new file inside of that folder, and we're going to call it scene. Let's go back to viewcontroller.swift. Let's replace this with scene. Excuse me. Now we're going to put in this group in a second, so let's take a picture of the object that we will be doing. Okay, so now I'm going to airdrop it from my phone to my computer. So the photo that we took of the battery. I'm about to receive it, so I'm going to select all three photos. 4 actually, and I'll tap on that, and I have received them. So let's go to downloads. Got all 4. I think I have this one, which is already cropped, so that one looks pretty good. Let's go back and let's drag this into this folder, which I've called battery. And this will go inside of battery. And I'm going to delete one of those. Here, let's go back to Finder. Okay, so let's drag that in. We're having an error here. It says The image does not have a valid extension. And I'm going to rename this of battery. Okay, so that looks good. Doesn't have a valid extension. So I think what we can do is we can go back and I can call this a PNG. See if that works. And now I can just delete those, put that back in. Now it has a legitimate extension. Okay, we are good. Now instead for in-group named, we're going to call it battery. There we go. And you might think, well, there's a ton of other code, right? Well, guess what? That is pretty much all of the code. And we're getting some errors here, so we're going to force unwrap that. And let's just go through to make sure that we have everything else. Let's save it. Looks pretty good. So now we're going to download it to our phone. So make sure that your phone is connected to your computer via a USB cable. Mine is right here. And just remember, it has to be 6S below. So anywhere from 6S, 6S plus, 7, 7 plus, 8, 8 plus, iPhone SE, iPhone X, iPhone XR, iPhone XS, and iPhone XS Max. You know, Apple just keeps on making those like really long names and it's annoying. But I'm using an X. So let's press download and we're going to see what happens with the AR object. We do have an error here. Every time we run it, we're going to get this error, which is thread 1 fatal error, unexpectedly found nil while unwrapping an optional value. How do you fix this? Let's go back to Let's go back to assets.exe assets, and instead of having a normal group, we're going to have one called an AR resources group, which you can put in by right clicking or control clicking and select new AR resource group. Now let's name this battery. Inside, let's go ahead and find our picture somewhere right here. There we go. And let's try it. So we're going to run again to the phone. It's building, and we'll see if there are any other errors that we might encounter. Okay, so let's go over here. It says execution of the command buffer was aborted due to an error during execution. Caused GPU hang error. Now I'm going to pull up what we're seeing on the phone. So let's go ahead and show you this. So it's loading. Okay, so here it is. Let's go ahead and go into AR. And we lost connection. So let's rerun it. And anyway, it's right here. Let's go into the app. And here it is. There's the battery. Okay. Here it says must have a non-zero positive width. So let's show the overview. So let's check to make sure that this has a non-zero positive width. Now, since we rotated the picture, it doesn't. So what we're going to have to do is we can retake the picture actually. So I'm going to hold the phone steady and I'm going to take a screenshot like this. And there we go. So let's go back to here and let's delete that. Let's go back to Finder. This time it's going to be on the desktop right here. So let's drag it in and we still. So the resolution is kind of low and it has a non-zero. It doesn't have a non-zero positive width. Okay. So the problem we have is we need to accept a custom file for an AR 3D object. Now you can get it from this sample code. It's called an AR scanner. You want to click on the third link when you search up AR scanner. Let's click on that. Let's go down here. Okay, and it's here. So let's download the app into Xcode and let's open it up there. Let's take a look at the overview. So what you can do is you can scan items just like this. Inside Xcode, let's open it up once you have it ready. So I have it scanned item and scanning app, and it's very complex. So we're not going to deal with most of the logistics of this app. So let's go ahead and click download. I'm going to set up our device, press download, and you can run the app on your phone. Here we are inside of the AR Scanner app. This is something that you want to have. So for example, I have our Dubot Magician right here, which is going to be scanned just like this. We can make the box larger, and then we can scan. So I'm going to press the scan button, just like this. And it should be generating something like this, and you want to cover every single panel. You got to go all around the object, and make sure you do that. Otherwise, you won't be able to actually get the AR model of this object. So I'm going to leave you to do the rest on your own, and I'll see you when we finished up the model. Okay, so once you have finished scanning, you should get something like this, and let's press test. Okay, that is good. Now we want to press share, and let's share it via AirDrop to our computer. I'm going to tap that, and here I will accept it on my computer. So I'm going to press accept, and it is done. I've sent it, and now we are done. We have the AR object, and I will be showing you how to put it into our project in the next video, or the next step, sorry. So now we are done with scanning the project, so let's go ahead and put it into our AR resource group. I've named it Dubot, and we have it right here. Let's drag it in right there, and there is our scanned Dubot. But now let's go to viewcontroller.swift, and the way we detect it is we use this function called renderer. So let's call it right here. Func. You type in renderer, and you want to say node for anchor. Now inside of here, let's start by defining a node, and we'll call it an SCN node. And we have to return it inside of here. So we want to say SCN node, and we'll just return it for now, and we'll put in the code in a second, just to make that error go away. Now we want to put in an object anchor for our artificial reality. So my plan for this is to display this board pretty much above the Dubot, and then what we can do is we can tell the AR thing to put in some text like this is the Dubot, and this retails for 1,500, something like that. I'm going to put in if let object anchor is equal to anchor as AR object anchor. So we're doing an if statement here. Let's start by defining a plane for this, for putting this in. And we want to say it's equal to an SCN plane. And we're going to call it with CG float object anchor dot reference object dot extent dot x times 0.8. So we're just going to take the reference object here, and we're going to multiply its extent of x by 0.8, and we're going to do the same thing for the y, but we're going to multiply by 0.5. Dot extent dot y times 0.5. Now we can say that the plane's corner radius is equal to the plane's width times 0.8, or yeah, time divided by 8. Then Or if you're into math, I can say times 0.125, and it means the same thing. Then we can define our sprite kit scene for this. So I'll just call it display scene. And we're going to call it an SK scene with the file name. And we're going to create this file right now. Let's go here and let's go to File, New File. Now let's scroll all the way down to here. We want our sprite kit scene. Then I'm going to call it product. We're going to save it to our project in this wrong place. So there we go. Now inside here, we're going to start by going into the objects library, and we'll put in a label. Then let's put in, we're going to look for, what else do we want to put in to this project? Let's also put in this, just so it's red, and we're going to right click this label, and we're going to say push to back. And let's make this bigger, and then put the label here, and let's push to back. So let's put this below, and there we go. So it's now within the sprite node, and let's change the text to the label by going to this attribute inspector. The text will be Dubot, magician, and let's drag it in. Then let's add in another label, and let's drag it in to here as well. And I'm going to change the text to retails for about 1,500 USD. And it's a little bit over, so let's make this view bigger. I'm gonna drag this out for a second. Do that. Nope. So it's this one and this one. Let's drag them out for half a second. No. There we go. Now we can make this bigger without any penalty. So let's put them inside of the sprite node, and let's do it like this. There we go, and that is our file of product.sks. Now let's go to viewcontroller.swift and let's say product. And since it's an SK scene, we don't have to specify the type of this. Then let's go ahead and define our plane, and we already have it here. So let's say plane dot first material, which is the first material on the geometry, dot diffuse dot contents is equal to the display scene. Then after that, we'll say plane dot first material dot is double-sided, and we want it to be double-sided. So we'll set that to true. Then we'll say plane dot first material dot diffuse dot contents transform is equal to FCN matrix for translate. And we'll give it those parameters. And sorry, it's not translate, it's transform. So it's SCN matrix, yeah, for translate, but it's one of the different ones. We got that wrong one. So translate. Okay, so M would be equal to SCN make matrix make for scale. For make scale, sorry. And it will be 1, negative 1, 1. And then after that, it's 0, 1, 0. Then let's define our plane node. Let plane node equals scn node with the geometry of the plane. Then we will set the position of it. So plane node dot position is equal to scn vector 3 make. The x will be object anchor dot reference object dot center dot x. So this way it's going to be right above the object. Then object anchor dot reference object dot center dot y, and then the z is going to be the object anchor dot reference object dot center dot z, and we want it to be above it, so we'll set the y to plus 0.35. This way the screen of product.sks is going to display above the DoBot. Then we'll say node dot add child node, and that is plain node. That is our code, so let's go ahead and download it to our phone, and we'll try scanning our DoBot from there. Okay, so it turns out that the DoBot Magician robotic arm loves to move around a little bit, and when we try to put it into our project, it doesn't work out so well. Here I'm going to be using a water bottle from Costco. So let's place the bounding box around there. Tap next. And that looks good. Let's start scanning. And it'll wait for you to finish. Alright, so let's put the model back into assets XC assets. Let's go to Finder, and I have it in downloads from today. It's this one, the most recent one. Okay, and now we've got our bottle in there. So what you want to do is let's download it again. And there's one more thing that we want to change. Here, let's say water bottle. Let's change this to water bottle. So Kirkland water bottle. And here, we're going to say retails for about 1 USD. Okay, now let's run it. So here is our project. As you can see, this is an AR in virtual reality. Sorry, the phone turned off, but here it is. And you can see it moves around with the camera. Now I'm going to put my hand over it. See? That's augmented reality. Okay, so that was our final project. It's really cool because you can detect objects after you've scanned them. And I'll be making more videos like this in the future. But for now, stay tuned and I'll see you next time. Bye!